Are you craving for a realistic and authentic football game? Perhaps, like me, you're tired of grass skating and arcade gameplay of FIFA games. Or maybe you don't want to play watered-down version of PS that Efootball 25 is. If so, then I got a great tip for you. You can get a realistic feeling of PS gameplay with current rosters and fairly modern graphics thanks to all-in-one modded Pro Evolution Soccer 2021 version. You may think those are old news. After all, the game has been out for years. Surely, plenty of you already tried modded PS21, so why should you get back to it now? Well, I think it's the best time to jump into Pro Evolution Soccer 21 thanks to a recent release of Megapatch 2.3 for Football Live 24. Perhaps you already tried that one already in the past and it didn't click, but bear with me because Megapatch 2.3 changes the gameplay drastically, making the experience best I ever had with PS21. If you want a simulation of football, Football Live with this newest all-in-one patch is the way to go. Generally, all heavily modded PS21 iterations offer fun and great football simulation. But in this video, I will focus on Football Live 24 with this latest mega patch, because to me personally it offers the most complete football adaptation in a video game. So the point is, you don't have to wait for UFL or 2K's football games to release. You can get PS21 heavily modded and you can get that for free. This iteration of PS is just so damn good, you don't want to miss out on it. So what exactly is Football Live 24? Well, essentially it's PS 2021 brought back to life with some serious love from the modding community, specifically the latest Megapatch 2.3. And trust me, it's not just a coat of paint. This mod adds everything you could want: improved gameplay, enhanced graphics, authentic atmosphere, and much more. It's better than it ever was, making it the perfect time to dive back in if you dropped off before. But let's get into what truly sets this version of PS21 apart: the gameplay. It's so damn good once you get the hang of it, and trust me, there's a lot to master here. If you're a fan of authentic football simulations, you will appreciate the sheer depth of what this modded version of PS21 brings to the table. First things first, the match tempo. One thing I immediately noticed is how flexible the tempo is. You can tweak the game speed to match your preference, but even on default, it feels much closer to a real football match than anything else out there. Unlike in FIFA, where you often find yourself just skipping the midfield with a series of super fast through balls, Football Live 24 encourages real build-up play. It's not just about rushing down the wings, abusing pace, or cutbacks. It's about carefully breaking down your opponent, finding space, and controlling the possession. You can still pull off those quick, incisive plays when the opportunity arises, but more often than not, you will find yourself looking to probe the defense, working the ball around, and patiently waiting for a gap to exploit. And when you finally break through with that perfect pass, it's incredibly satisfying. Speaking of passing, it's probably one of the most rewarding mechanics in the game. Even with the assisted system, passing feels crisp and precise, but once you start dabbling in manual passing, oh man, that's when the game truly shines. Lobbing a perfect long ball over the defense for your striker to latch onto is a feeling that's hard to describe. It's like you've crafted a moment of brilliance straight out of a real match. No two passes feel exactly the same, and that variety makes every attack feel fresh and satisfying. Then there's finishing. Inside the box, it feels incredibly realistic and so damn rewarding. Goalkeepers aren't superhuman here, but they're competent, which makes scoring feel earned rather than automatic. I especially love the finesse shots. They are not the top corner every time shots like you get in FIFA. Instead, they are about placement and curl, more like what you'd see in a real match. The power is toned down to give you that satisfying bend into the far end of goal. However, if there's one small gripe I have with shooting, it's with the long shots. They lack that bang feeling, you know? Maybe it's just me. And if so, drop the comment if you've cracked the code on long-range bangers. But it's something that I think could use a bit of tuning. Now, let's talk defense. This is an area where Football Live 24 Megapatch 2.3 absolutely wipes the floor with other football games. Take FIFA for example, where defending feels like 1 versus 1 battle, where you manually handle everything. But here, in Football Live, the AI-controlled defenders are actually helpful. They position themselves smartly, mark opponents, and it no longer feels like you're single-handedly trying to hold off an attack. It's a team effort and I freaking love it. That said, I've run into moments where defenders seem unwilling to intercept the ball. It's like they are not programmed to react to that particular ball, and so they just simply don't, which can be very frustrating. But overall, defending feels really solid and much more like real football than the isolated 1v1 scenarios you often get in FIFA. Dribbling in this game is also something special. Unlike EA football games where you rely heavily on flashy skill moves, here it's all about using momentum, body positioning, and changes in speed to outwit defenders. There's a certain authenticity to it. Using a defender's momentum against them feels incredibly satisfying and realistic. You don't need to spam skill moves, although they do help in certain situations. Instead, it's more about shielding the ball with your body, controlling your pace, and choosing the right moment to explode. And this particular version of the mod makes dribbling feel more fluid than ever. Skill moves actually feel like they are part of your arsenal rather than being just a gimmick. One of my favorite things about Football Live 24 2.3 patch is how fouls are handled. If you've played PS21 before, I'm sure you know how sometimes it's frustrating when you don't get fouls the same way the CPU opponents do. But luckily in this version of the game it's been changed and improved. If you're good at dribbling and positioning yourself against defender, you're going to actually draw a lot of fouls. And yes, that means plenty of free kicks and even penalties, something that's often missing in other football games. It's so satisfying to get rewarded for smart play, rather than just relying on speed or strength to bulldoze through. That said, there's still the occasional moment where the CPU gets away with fouls, but overall this is the best experience I've had with fouls in a PS game. Player movement is another area where Football Live 24 stands out. Sure, the animations might not be as polished as FIFA's, but there's something about the way players feel on the pitch that's just more live here in PS. Their feet actually connect with the grass. None of that ice skating nonsense you see in EA FC. Body collisions and headers feel impactful, and you can really sense the physicality of the game. It's those little details like this that make the on-field experience feel so much more authentic. Every jump, every tackle, every contact with the ball, it feels like it matters. And then we have the ball physics. This is where Football Live 24 truly becomes something special. The ball behaves like an actual object on the field. It has weight, it takes deflections, and it doesn't feel like it's following a scripted path. You'll get ricochets, awkward goals, and messy situations that feel natural rather than pre-programmed. These unpredictable moments add so much to the game's realism. You can't always predict how the ball will behave, and that's a good thing. It keeps you on your toes and makes each match feel authentic and unique. Now let's talk about atmosphere for a second, because this is where Football Live 24 really excels for me. The stadiums, the lighting, the crowd chants. It all makes you feel like you're part of a real football spectacle. I'm particularly obsessed with the foggy weather effects. It's like watching a late night match on TV where the tension is palpable and you can almost smell the grass. The CPU feels also so much smarter this time around. They're not as predictable as they were in other iterations of the game, and the variety of skill moves and playstyles you'll encounter will keep you on your toes. Build-ups are less robotic, which means no two matches feel exactly the same. And it's not just the CPU, everything from passing to dribbling feels natural. Dribbling isn't about crazy skill moves, and I cannot stress this enough. It's about body balance, momentum, and reading the defense, which adds an amazing layer of realism. So while listening to this video, you may have a question. Why Football Life 24 beats FIFA and eFootball? Well, let's be real. If you're someone who plays FIFA, you might be used to a more arcade-ish experience. EAFC feels like skating on ice, with less emphasis on actual football strategy and more on speed and skill moves. Football Life 24, on the other hand, makes you work for those goals. You can't just run down the wing and cross. You have to think, build and execute. And don't get me started on eFootball. What the hell happened to PS? eFootball is a shell of its former self, focusing more on Ultimate Team and microtransactions than delivering a solid football experience. It doesn't even have the damn Master League. Football Life 24, especially with the latest Megapatch, shows what PS could have been, and that pisses me off. Honestly, it's just mind-boggling that Konami didn't hire these guys who made those patches. The passion and love that went into the mods is just next level. I mean, picture that. If a small group of dedicated fans can create something that great, imagine what they could do with proper backing and resources. So, if you are a football fan who's been burned by FIFA or eFootball, I highly recommend giving Football Life 24 a try. You will rediscover what makes football games so truly special. If you enjoyed this review or want to see more content from me in the future, hit that like button and subscribe for more gaming videos. And let me know in the comments, what's your favorite thing about Football Life 24? Or what do you miss most about the old PS days? Anyway, that's all from me in this video. Thanks for your time and I'll see you in the next one.